Welcome to Flywheel, a podcast where we spin up strategies to turn your digital efforts into unstoppable momentum. Now, let's get that. What's going on? You know how when you travel to another country, you need to exchange your dollars for their currency? Same idea here, but on a massive scale. Right now, there's a war situation brewing. Iran has basically blocked one of the world's most important oil shipping lanes, the Strait of Hormuz. Think of it like a narrow hallway that 20% of the world's oil has to walk through every single day. Iran is standing in that hallway and saying, nobody gets through unless you pay me in Chinese yuan. The problem is almost the entire world buys and sells oil in US dollars. Been that way since 1970s. So this is Iran essentially saying, forget the dollar, use China's money instead. Here's a simple analogy. Imagine your whole neighborhood has agreed that everyone pays for everything using Dave's dollar. Currency only Dave controls. Dave gets rich just because everyone needs his currency to do business. That's basically what America has had with the US dollar for 50 years. Iran is now trying to kick Dave out of the oil business and replace him with Chinese yuan. That's a massive deal. So where does XRP come into this? Here's the thing. Countries that need oil like India, Japan, Turkey, they don't just have a big pile of Chinese yuan sitting around. They hold dollars or they own local currencies. So if Iran suddenly says, yuan only please, these countries have a problem now. How do you quickly swap your money for yuan without going through the US banking system, which takes days and is watched by the US government? That's exactly what XRP and XRP Ledger were built for. Think of XRP like a universal currency translator. Instead of India trying to find a bank willing to swap rupees for yuan, which takes days and costs a lot, XRP can sit in the middle of the swap and make it happen in about 3 to 5 seconds. Rupees goes in, XRP bridges the gap, yuan comes out on the other side. No waiting 3 days, no US bank in the middle watching the transaction, no permission needed from Washington. Say you're running an Indian oil company. Iran says you can bring your tanker through, but you need to pay in yuan. You got rupees. The old way is you call your bank, they call a correspondent bank, and then the bank deals in yuan. Then they wire transfer it, and 2 to 5 days this may take. And they, on top of that, they take fees everywhere. So U.S. regulators potentially see everything, right? So the XRPL way, your rupees get swapped through XRP into yuan on the ledger. Payment confirmed, and it's done in 5 seconds. Fraction of a cent in fees is what you pay, and no U.S. bank is involved. So genuinely, this is a game-changing difference when ships are sitting outside of the strait waiting to get through. What's really happening here is the world is slowly splitting into two financial lanes. One that runs through the US dollar and the one that's trying to operate independently off of it. So the XRP ledger is like the highway that connects both lanes. Doesn't care if you're paying in dollars, yuan, rupees, or anything else. It just moves value between them fast and cheap. So Iran's move is basically stress testing the world's financial system and exposing how fragile that everyone uses dollars setup really is. And in that chaos, tools like XRPL that lets countries swap currencies quickly and quietly without needing America's blessing become incredibly valuable. So in a short version, Iran created a problem. XRP Ledger is one of the few tools that can actually solve it in real time. And I can't wait for this system to switch around where we all benefit from that. So, Professor, what do you feel about this war that's taken place and the system being stress tested and how everything is going to be switched over to the new system.
Well, Digital X, this narrative that you just started for our episode today was extremely telling in that everything happens, nothing is coincidental. Everything happens in real time. Just by what you just said, I don't know if you saw a recent article from Seeking Alpha. They just said that Ripple just launched a $150 million share buyback program, right? Uh-huh. So do you understand what that actually means? Our listeners need to comprehend this. The idea that they've launched this, what we have to take from it is the timing. Now, you just heard Digital X explaining everything as far as what's happening with this whole scenario, right? With the whole XRP being the place where they're going to go for this whole, what do you call it? The war thing, that's a narrative, right? So now the exchanging rates and all that stuff, if you don't have dollars, you're not going to be able to, or you don't have the currency that Iran is asking everybody to use, there's an issue. Timing wise, Ripple just launches this and they're trying to buy back every investor that's holding XRPs. Now you understand why they're doing that, because the value of XRP is going to go up. It's just a matter of time. The reason why they're buying it back is they don't want everybody to be millionaires. The value is going to be so significant that transactions on a daily basis is going to go way more than what just the FX market alone is. Daily transactions in the foreign exchange market is almost $7 trillion a day. Take that number and you're talking about every single bank in the world, not just foreign exchanges, but every transaction's coming onto this chain, onto this distributed ledger technology. So I can't put a number on it, Digital X. I'm going to say that it's going to be a significant number, right? If you're holding, imagine if you had about 10 Bitcoin right now, you'd be sitting at close to $1 million, right? So take that and forward. If you have 1,000 of it, right, you're talking about $6 million.
Let's simplify it. You just mentioned that about $7 trillion a day would be moving, right, on the ledger. So basically what you want to do is you want to take that 7 trillion and divide that by the circulating supply of XRPs that's available to be utilized for the transaction purposes. And it'll give you a roundabout figure of what the value of each XRP may be one day. So it's just very simple. I mean, you could do the math yourselves and figure out, hey, this has a potential to be this high in value, but you have to be able to see it in the long run. Us explaining it to you is not going to do you any justice because you don't have the vision to or capacity to understand it. I mean, this is where you have to do your research and find out, hey, what are they talking about? Is it really going to be that high in value, or what? Even if it's not, you don't think it can get to $100? You don't think it can get to $200? I mean, you're fooling yourself if you think it can.
Yeah, exactly. And it's right now sitting at about $1.40, $1.45, somewhere around there. And you're buying yourself 1,000. Investment is literally a couple of $1,000, maybe $1,500, whatever it is. You know, $2,000 max. You're taking that $2,000 and you have 1,000 coins and it gets to $100. You've made a significant, almost 100x. You know what I mean, on your investment. And that's on the absolute low end when you comprehend the overall problem that this is solving, right? There's no coincidence that Ripple is buying back and investing $750 million to buy back XRPs from holders that are worried about price action. They're like, oh my goodness, what most people are worrying about is the money is going to go, or their investment, it's only $1.40, it's this, it's that, it's gone down since I purchased it. No, the whole idea is not about speculation here. It's not speculative asset, guys. It is a settlement layer. It is a settlement asset. So when settlement, it requires this XRP to actually do the transaction, complete a transaction. It is no longer a speculative asset. So with that in mind, that's, we're not financial advisors here. Myself and Digital X are just passionate about digital assets, and then and not even passionate about the digital asset or the technology, but how can we make some money? At the end of the day, that's what everybody's looking for, right? How can we make some yield? How can we make some gains? So with that in mind, that's all I have to say. Just get some exposure on this. That's all it is. That's all I'm saying.
All right. Professor, you said it well. Let's go ahead and flywheel out of here and take it away.
Yes, sir. So to our listeners, please comment in our comment section and ask us questions. We'll engage in the subsequent episodes or in that comment section itself. So with that, this episode of the Crypto Flywheel is signing off. Thank you.
Thank you.